Was serving the country when I obtained my HSBC and other credit cards. I have, because, honestly applied on the applications and got it without any, no influence came whatsoever from any politician or from anybody. I on my own submitted, and they gave. But then when I was doing service to the country, these people in the central bank who are more like slaves to the US official, American officials, are not happy about it, and they get to know about it, and they call the particular commercial bank who gave me the credit cards and the leasing facilities, and then get my employment details from those mandate application forms, and then they influence those companies not to renew my contracts, and then cut off my income, and thereby try to stop my pressurize to stop my work to the country. And thereafter, when my credit cards become problem, they put me into the crib and prevent me from further access to any funds at all, even a car loan or a new car loan or a new personal car loan, not a lease, because lease is a problem in Sri Lanka. New personal car loan or a new apartment loan, anything, they any other electrical items needed for a home, everything they block after once you get listed there just for your credit card. So these credit cards also, the central bank, before they issue, the commercial banks are being, sometimes if they know that you're working for the country disregarding their ideas towards America, what they do is they give you sometimes an over amount, which is normally beyond your income, and then try to ensure that you use them and get into trouble. Meanwhile, they block your employment contracts from the other side if you are a professional. So this type of unethical things happen through the US influence from the corrupted employees who have nothing to do with the Sri Lanka's political leaders. Actually, they do this on their own for their personal, like, cruel satisfaction, and like a cruel prestige image that they want for themselves. Sri Lankan politicians or the parliament members or our leaders have nothing to do with this process. So I think this issue, U.S. government must take the full responsibility, because now it has gone in a very bad way, and these people now got in touch with the LTT people, and then they block our commercial banks' credit ratings to CCC negative, external environment, and then external environment, the commercial banks have to manage. You can't say external environment in the country is negative on the central commercial bank. Commercial banks have the, as per the law, Central Bank of Sri Lanka can stipulate to central commercial banks, okay, can you please invest this amount of money on the Sri Lanka development? So accordingly they decide. So they have to be within the Sri Lankan central bank's regulations, So that can't be like viewed as a negative environmental impact for CC, negative downgrading of the commercial bank. Then we don't have the monetary supervision over the central commercial banks. So commercial banks, if switch rating says, okay, commercial banks have a CCC negative, outward external environment negative, that means they are interfering on the central banks of Sri Lanka's commitment to its politically democratically elected leaders to govern this country to their prosperity. But they are more try to influence our sovereign people's sovereignty by getting involved in our banking supervision process, because central bank only decides time to time, commercial banks, okay, now the COVID-19 pandemic comes, don't invest in other sources, please invest within the Sri Lanka government's development bonds, because if the commercial banks invest their funds overseas somewhere else and any other government's development bonds at a time when Sri Lanka needs more money, well, then of course we think about our economy first before any other government's development bonds. That is why those regulations are there. So that can't be viewed as a reason for a CCC negative and negative external environment, right? That is a direct involvement, interference in our supervision mechanism of the governor's policy of the commercial bank, which is based on the mandate of the democratically elected president and the prime minister and the parliament, who follow the indigenous economic strategy to develop this country. That is the reason. So these things have to be corrected, because these are absolutely wrong. The American system, inside the culture of the employees who are not really the politically appointed employees, they are working on their own, for their like a cruel self-satisfaction, destroying the country's interest. Just the ideally, they are like American Sri Lankans, but they are also destroying our country, but they are not Americans. Sri Lanka, they think they are Americans here. They don't have any citizenship to do anything to do with America, but they just get do this for their prestigious sake.